Okay, let's talk about, we're going to talk about the VIPER design pattern. Um, so the VIPER design pattern, VIPER is an acronym that stands for View, Interactor, Presenter, Entity, and Router. And it is a design pattern for building iOS applications that separate the application in a distinct layer and improve its modularity and testability. Each component of the VIPER pattern has a specific role. The view responsible for presenting the user interface and handling user input. Interactor responsible for performing business logic and interacting with the data layer. Presenter responsible for preparing the data to be displayed in the view. Entity represents the data used by the application, or in this case, it is like it would be your data model. And the router responsible for handling the navigation between different scenes. Okay, so now we're gonna get down and we're gonna do a very simple VIPER design pattern for a very simple app, right? We're not gonna have any major functionality. Basically, it's gonna be a tab view, and we're gonna tab between two different views, okay? And that's it. But we're gonna do this, we're gonna implement this using the VIPER design pattern. So I'm here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and create these different groups, right? I mentioned the router, view, presenter, interactor, and entity. And so I'm gonna create a group for each one. New group, router, okay, right? I'm going to create another group, another group. I'm going to create another group called the view. I'm going to create another group called the presenter. I'm going to create another group called the interactor. Interactor, right? Or interactor, right? And then the last one is the entity. Okay. And then the entity. So let's see. So now, let's see. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start off with my entity. Okay. So I'm gonna create a new file. This is gonna be a Swift file. And I'm gonna call this file item.swift. It's gonna be my entity. Item is going to refer to the items that I'm going to the number of tabs. That's what it's going to refer to. Okay, we're going to have two tabs. Okay, so create an item. Okay, and we're going to do this item, and each one is going to have we're going to create a struct. Struct item is of type identifiable let's ID of type int, let's title is of type string. Okay. Do this real quick. Resume. Okay, so I like to say this. Identifiable allows ID in this struct to be used with the list, with lists, okay, or with a list view, okay. It makes this a uniquely identified object every instance, okay. All right, so we have our item, okay. Now let's go ahead and create an item interactor. Right here. Let me see something real quick. Stop. Okay. New file. Right here. Item interactor. Item interactor. Right. Sure. Okay. Now, so for this, I'm going to say, right, I'm going to say class item interactor CV, get rid of this. And then I'm going to say func get items, func gets items. Okay, right there. And this should be an array of items. Okay. Now that I have this, turns this, and I should be able to say return, right? Disclosure 0 ... less than 10. Okay. Dot map, right? Return index. Okay. Item, right? So that is our object. Item, and we have an ID, which is our I'm just gonna say, yeah, right. Item ID, which is our index, right? And of course, title should be item, right? Index. Okay, can I items? And this should be item, right? Okay. Boom, we have this. All right. So now we're going to go here and we're going to make an item presenter. File right here, right? Item presenter. Next. Okay, so now we're gonna have this class, right? Class item presenter, class item presenter, observable object, observable object. Okay. Private let interactor. Let interactor equals item interactor, right? And then I'm gonna have at published, right? Var items, right? Say item, right? And this is empty array of item, right? The array of item. But then I'm going to go ahead and have this function. Okay, func get items. And this should do what? set these items. So items, right, equal to interactor dot get items. Okay, so, and this is not fund, it's called func, right? And yeah, so we have this. All right, so now we need to do is go ahead and get our view. So I'm going to go right here. We're going to call this an item list view, new file, right here, item list view, right? Create item list view. And then we're going to say struct item list view is of type view, right? Is of type view, I mean. Okay. Right. All right. If item list view, and then we're going to say we're going to have a property at the top, title. Okay. This is a type string, right? And then we're going to say at observable object var presenter, right? And this is item presenter. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and create our body var body, right? Some view. We already talked about this in previous video. Some view. Okay, and then V stack. Okay, V stack. Okay, text. Okay, title, right? And dot font, right? Dot title, right? And then we'll say list. Okay. Okay, presenter dot items, presenter dot items. Okay. Okay. And then we'll say item in. And we're gonna say text. Okay, item, right? Dot title. TITL title, right? And we're gonna say dot fonts, right? Dot title, right? And then under here, we're going to go ahead and do dot on appear, on appear, right? Upon appear, and we're gonna do this, right? On appear, presenter dot get items. Okay. Right. So and you know, this is said I need to, instead of saying import foundation, I should be saying import Swift UI. Right? Right. Unknown observable objects. Observable objects. Come on. Unknown attribute. It's not observable object because it is observed object. Observed object, and then this should go away. right? Of course it should. All right. So now that I have this, I need to go ahead and add my router. Okay. So right here, new file. Okay. And I'm going to call this item list router. Item list router. All right. And of course, this handles the navigation for this functionality. Again, foundation, Swift UI. Okay, and we're gonna say class item list router item list router, right? And then I'm gonna say func make view func make view, right? Make view title type string. Okay, and this returns, right, some view, right? And then I go here, stop. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get let presenter equal pig function return some type of, don't worry, we'll do that. Item presenter. Okay. Item presenter, let view equal item list view, item list view, right? Title is title, and presenter is presenter. Function, okay? And then we shall return the view. Okay. There we go. All right. And so now what we need to do is go to our content view, right? And we have some stuff to change here in our content view. All right. So now I'm going to go here into the content view. I'm going to say private let router, private let router equal item list router right there. And then I'm going to say, let me get rid of this. Because this is not, we don't need that, right? Matter of fact, we don't even need this, right? No, what we want is a table view or a tab view. Sorry, not a table view. Tab view, right? We have a tab view. This goes in the center. And let's say router dot make view. And I'm just gonna say tab one. Okay. Okay. Dot tab item. Right. Tab item. And there we go. Right there. Tab item. I'm gonna say image. I don't say image. Nice system name. And of course, this is from your what do you call that thing? Your the icons, the system icons. I can't remember what they call it. But square dot fill, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna say text. Okay, boom, tab 1, right? And then we can go ahead and kind of do the same thing over on this side, right? So go back here. Command C, Command V. Okay, I'm gonna say tab 2. Here 2 square, tab 2. And let's do this. Right. As you can see, this is on both sides. Right? All right, it's tab 2, tab 2, tab 1, tab 1, right? And so look, just in case you guys don't really yeah. So we have all this, right? Right here. Okay? You know, and yeah. And we can also, yeah. So this is how all of this works. Just the basic short skinny of setting up your VIPER design pattern. And yeah, tab 2, tab 1. Okay. And on to the next, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this with a networking service. Okay. And basically the next thing I'm going to do is have a networking service, but depending on the tab that I click, it will be what is passed to for the search. Okay. And again, I will use a VIPER design pattern for that. So yeah, this is just give you an idea of how this works with a networking service. So on to the next.